Martin Cola with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and just here in my garden, getting some of my winter garden planted out. As you guys can see, just got this planted out fresh today. Got some broccoli, some rutabagas, and some cauliflowers in this bed. Over yonder, I planted some spinach and some sugar snap peas, which are totally my favorite. Now, I've been working on the garden pretty much half the day, you know, and it's a bit cold out. I got thermals on, whatnot. It's getting colder. I'm going to work for another half hour before I go inside. But, you know, to me, the time that I take to invest in the garden is probably one of the most important things that I could be doing with my time, because after all, I'm doing this for fun. I like being out in nature. I like getting some fresh air, especially when it's warmer. I like getting some sun like I did yesterday, not today, it's overcast. But the main reason why I'm growing the food is so that I could eat it. So I could have, you know, better quality than the stuff you could get at the store. Because if you go into the store, you're basically slave to whatever the farmers are growing, or more specifically, not even farmers. You know, I want you guys to know the truth. Whatever industrial agriculture is growing for you, because it's not mom and pop farmers that are selling the produce at the big box or the mega grocery stores. It's commercial agriculture. Even if it is organic, you know, some of their practices are not the best to grow the highest quality stuff. So today what I'm going to do in an episode is to show you guys one of the many reasons why I grow my own food is for the taste. And I'm going to do a taste test. So we've had some broccoli and cauliflower in the beds for a month or two, and they're about ready to harvest. And so I'm going to harvest some of my own homegrown stuff, and we can compare it to organic, you know, broccoli and cauliflower that was purchased at the store. So anyways, let's go over to my plants and harvest some grub. So now I'm going to get to harvest my broccoli. It's been growing all season, and up until now, actually, I've been harvesting little greens off, and I've been eating the greens, much like I would kale greens or collard greens, broccoli and the cauliflower. You know, all those greens are totally edible. They're in the cruciferous family, and plants in the cruciferous family, such as the broccoli, actually been shown to help fight things like cancer and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and finally harvest some of the flower, the broccoli flower. And the thing I want you guys to know is that your broccoli is ready to harvest whenever you want it to be, right? If you go to the store, they dictate you at what size you will buy it. You will buy it when it's this large. And that might not be the time that it's tasting the best. I mean, I personally like to harvest broccoli when I have nice small little shoots, right? I have some other plants that have some nice small shoots. Oh, here's some small stuff right down here. They're very tender, but if you want them to get big like the store, then they get a little more fibrous, you know. Still better than the store, but not as good as when they're younger. And if you harvest them when they're young, basically the broccoli plant will reshoot and grow more. So I'm going to harvest this guy right now. And when I do that, I could use a snippers, but instead I like to just break it off. And here's an offshoot here, so we're going to break it above the offshoot. Just snap it off, nice and crisp. Oh, this one snapped off too. I guess I'll eat this one now. Wow, man, oh my God. This to me, it's like super sweet. It tastes like when my mom would steam broccoli for us as kids, and of course she bought it at the store, and it was like super tender and really flavorful. I mean, that's what this fresh stuff that I just tasted, put in my mouth, tastes like. All right, so let's go ahead and take the rest of this stuff in and do a taste test. But before we do, I'm going to go ahead and harvest some cauliflower. So now I'm about to harvest my cauliflower, and another reason to grow your own, besides the amazing taste like I just experienced with my broccoli, is that you don't have to be dictated or be a slave to the varieties that are grown for you and sold in the stores. Some stores, you know, you may be able to find other colors of the cauliflower besides the standard white. This season I'm growing like things like the white one, the yellow one, and even the purple one. And you know, totally the different colors are amazing to grow. I always want to encourage you guys to seek out new life and new civilizations where man has not gone before, man has not boldly gone before. I mean, seek out different colors and heirloom produce that are different colors and different than what money can buy, so that you can get different kinds of phytonutrients and phytochemicals, because all the different pigments in foods are very beneficial for us. There's studies that are now coming out and studies that are not even done yet that show how beneficial eating the rainbow truly is. So today what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to harvest this guy right here. Check it out. It's a beautiful, hey, I like pulling this back, purple cauliflower. So we're just going to come down over here and we're just going to go ahead and gently break off it, and there we go. Nice purple cauliflower. We're gonna go ahead and go inside, do a taste test. All right, so now we're inside and we're gonna get to do the taste test for you guys, and check it out. We got my fresh picked broccoli and a cauliflower here. You saw me pick them out of my garden fresh, and you know, these are grown, in my opinion, beyond organic, right? I grow and use only organic practices in my garden. But more importantly, I do things that organic farmers do not do, but they should be doing. And if you're an organic farmer watching this, be sure to check my past episodes to see what kind of things I put in my soil to get the highest quality food that actually tastes like food. Because what we're going to do next is actually, we got some right here, organic, USDA certified organic cauliflower, broccoli, and carrots that actually we're going to go ahead and open up and try in front of you guys. So I mean, immediately what you guys know and what I like to say is freshest is bestest. The fresher the produce, the better it's going to be. The more nutrition it's going to have, the higher levels of nutrients it's going to have in there, the more vitamins, minerals, and more importantly, the things called phytochemicals and phytonutrients, a term that many of you guys may not have heard before. These are things like antioxidants and some of the different, you know, protective qualities of the produce. And that's why I really love growing my own fresh fruits and vegetables, because they're literally the most healing foods in the world. And to get the most healing power in the broccoli, right, it's not going to be sitting on a store shelf for a week and then getting to you, right? There's studies that show that within 3 days of something being harvested and being shipped to you, up to 50% of certain nutrients can be lost. Poof! It's like Puff the Magic Dragon, gone in a puff of smoke. But the nutrients diminish very rapidly. And you know, by all means, eating some fresh produce out of the Whole Foods paycheck or your grocery store is definitely better than eating processed foods, things in packages, bottles, and jars. But it's really not as good as growing yourself, and that's really my message to you guys. I want you guys to grow your own. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do the taste test so I can see if I'm gonna like the store-bought stuff or my fresh grown stuff better. All right, let's go ahead and open this package up here. It's adult proof, actually. I can't even get into it. So here's the cauliflower out of the package. You know, white cauliflower, I agree with the purple one. These are both organic. And let's see. Let's go ahead and try theirs first. Nice, firm, and crunchy. After you chew it up a while, and it's actually quite crisp. You finally get some flavor. Just tastes like cauliflower. It doesn't taste bad. It just tastes like cauliflower, you know? Some people are not a fan. They'd rather cook or steam it up and flavor it up with some spices. If I was eating this stuff, you know, I'd want to like make a nice dressing, you know, fresh in my blender. Maybe I'd make like a lemon tahini dressing. Very simple, very easy. I like to use some sweet lime juice, some lemon juice, some sesame seeds, some miso, and some garlic. Blend it up in the blender and then dip this in there, and it's going to taste a whole lot better than eating it plain. Next up, let's go ahead and try my purple cauliflower. Wow. Much more tender. It's not as hard. It's softer. And on the initial bite, right when I bit into it, I tasted the flavor. And actually there's this certain sweetness that my cauliflower has that literally the store-bought stuff does not. So why does my cauliflower taste better than the store-bought stuff? Well, there's many reasons. Number one is because it's fresh picked, right? When they have to pick things early and then it's shipped to the store, and you may get the produce that was, picked like a couple days, a week, 2 weeks, and in some cases months, after it was picked, right? Especially with the vegetables, something that I like to call plant rigor mortis sets in. So for those of you guys that are morticians, know what rigor mortis is. That's when you have a body that's no longer alive, and then they get all stiff. And that's what happens to the vegetables. Once it's detached from the plant, it's no longer getting that living water. It's no longer going to be soft. It kind of dries out and gets hard and firm. So, this is what people think vegetables should taste like, and this is why I think vegetables are cooked, because they're really hard, they're not fun to eat, they're not really soft and tender like you just picked it yourself out of the garden, right? So that's reason number one. Reason number two, of course, in my garden, I use good growing practices and add things like trace minerals into the soil. So I add 70 to 90 different trace minerals, and when those are in the soil, and more importantly, there's bacteria and the microbes in there to break those nutrients down and make them available for the plant to absorb, the plants now absorb a full spectrum of the minerals that they want to uptake. And if they're not in the soil, the plants will not uptake the nutrients. In standard agriculture, they focus on 3 main nutrients, NPK, and if they're into it, they might put 15 to 17 different nutrients that science says in 1994 plants need. But nature, in my opinion, knows best. And in nature, there's, 90 plus different minerals on the planet, all in various ratios that plants have been able to absorb over all these years, and each one has a specific function. It's probably something like how to cure cancer, right? That's the elusive thing that science cannot figure out, how to cure cancer. Instead of trying to cure cancer, I want you guys to prevent it by eating things like broccoli. But we'll also probably never figure out all the different roles that all the different trace minerals play in a plant. How do you even figure that stuff out, right? So my goal is just to put the stuff in the soil, let the microbes, let the plants figure it out, let them uptake the minerals that they want, and then, the results will speak for themselves. Your food will taste better, if you're following my practices and have a healthy soil and a healthy garden. It's going to taste far better than the store-bought stuff. And I wish that conventional agriculture and agribusiness and farmers would start using some of the practices that I use. It's ridiculous. There's an organization called Acres USA, and if you guys are farmers, look up Acres USA and do what they say, because basically I do the home gardening version of what Acres USA advocates, right? It's remineralizing the soil using natural methods to grow the highest quality stuff. Literally. So anyways, next I want to go ahead and taste this broccoli. It's screaming at me because the first one I had was so good. So this is the original head I plucked off there. Look at how nice that looks. We're going to go ahead and pluck off a little soft, delicate little spear there. Nice and tender. A little bit more firm. Not like that little soft shoot that I ate when I was in the garden. But still, upon masticating it, and I want to encourage you guys to masticate your food. That means chew. And chew it into mush before you swallow. You're going to get better digestion, and you're going to release actually some of the beneficial phytochemicals and phytonutrients when you're chewing. And you're going to mix it with your saliva or salivary amylase to get your digestion going. Remember, guys and girls, we don't have teeth in our stomach, so if you swallow pieces whole, right, they're going to come out the other side, and then you're going to see that in the toilet and flush it down the toilet. So you're wasting your time eating if it's coming out whole. And I want you guys to look at your poop sometimes, and chew your food very well so you get optimal digestion, and you get the optimal nutrition out of your food. And of course, especially if you grew it yourself, you get to savor and enjoy the delicious taste much longer. All right, now we're gonna try the stem. One of my favorite things that my girlfriend loves is broccoli stems, and I wish she was here to try this stem because it's really nice and tender. Some broccoli stems, man, in order to eat them, you need to peel the outside skin because it's just too fibrous and tough. This is so tender. Oops. I could easily chew it up. And it's quite good. I really like the middle of the broccoli stem. That's the best part. Don't throw it away. If you're buying broccoli, then you're going to have to peel it. But if you grew it yourself, it's probably going to be pretty tender, especially if you harvest it at a nice young age. Really amazing flavor. I love dipping that stuff into a nice dressing. But my broccoli alone is sweet enough to enjoy plain. I want to encourage you guys, whenever possible, just enjoy your produce plain, man. We don't need dressings. Dressings, especially a lot of dressings, actually have added salt and all this kind of stuff to make the food taste good because it doesn't taste good on its own, right? If you grow good food, it's going to taste good on its own, and you're not going to have to add anything to it in order to enjoy it. All right, next, we're going to get ahead and try some of the broccoli here. Well, this looks interesting. I think it's kind of almost, this is actually flowering. That's interesting. I've never seen really broccoli flower when you buy it at the store. I've only seen that on my plants. So by the looks of it, this is maybe a more mature broccoli. Wow. This is much more tough. It's not melting in my mouth. And it really, really, really needs a dressing in order for me to eat any more of it. This stuff like actually might end up going in my juicer. And this, unfortunately, is what most people are used to buying organic broccoli that doesn't have a whole lot of flavor, that's really hard and fibers that they need to cook or do some other method like blend or juice, grill or fry to make it taste good. Because this, to me, does not taste good. Next, let's go ahead and eat that stalk. Much harder. The skin is more fibrous. I am able to chew it up, but it's not nearly as sweet or as flavorful as the stuff I'm growing. So what did we learn today? Well, we learned that I'm biased towards the stuff I grew, but seriously, it did taste better, and if I did a taste test and you guys were here, you could clearly taste the difference. I mean, many of you guys have grown your own tomatoes before and have tasted homegrown tomatoes that taste far better than the stuff you buy at the store, especially this time of year in the winter time when they're pink and they bounce. Or maybe if you haven't grown your own tomatoes, right? Maybe you've gone to a farmer's market where they're fresh picked and, you know, they taste better, right? But even farmer grown fresh tomatoes can even taste better than that if you grow them yourself and do some of the practices that I shared with you guys and pick them at their ripeness. So now we're going to get into why my produce tasted better. And there's a number of reasons. Number one is because, you know, I fresh harvested it, you know. I don't recommend you guys harvest all your broccoli, then store it in your fridge, and then eat it as you need it out of your fridge, right? Your garden is the nature's refrigerator, especially in the winter time when it's cold outside, right? It gets cold at night. It's probably colder than my fridge on some nights outside. My fridge is set at like 40. And it's nature's refrigerator, and it's still growing, and your plants are still alive, right? They're respirating, they're growing, they're actually getting bigger. You never have any food waste, but also you don't need to harvest it until you're ready. You know, you can harvest it at a younger stage, you could harvest it when it's more mature, you could harvest the broccoli when it's starting to flower if you want, you know, because you can do that if you grow it yourself. So number one, it's fresh picked, it's harvested. Number two, you know, plant rigor mortis does not sit in because, you know, once again, when they're picking it and shipping it, put on a truck, has to go a lot of miles. And literally this food is, you know, literally footsteps outside of my kitchen. Much, much fresher and fresher picked. That's two reasons. Reason number three, you know, is my growing practices. So I do growing practices that far exceed, in my opinion, organic and conventional. and actually even most, small farmers. I wish they would use some of the practices I share in my videos, and that's why I make these videos for you guys. Whether you're a farmer, whether you're a home gardener, whoever you are, you'll know some of the best practices to grow the highest quality stuff, if that's your goal. And if it's not, that's cool too. You don't have to do it, man. So the soil nutrients in the soil, the health of the soil is the health of the plant, and the health of the plant is the quality of the produce it's producing. So, to sum it up, in the soil, I have organic matter in the form of compost, both bacterial and fungal dominated compost. I have the trace minerals, 70 to 90 different trace minerals in the forms of things like rock dust and sea solids. And more importantly, I also have the microbes. The microbes are super important in the form of things like Boogie Brew, compost tea, in the form of worm gold plus worm castings, and in the form of different mycorrhizal applications and other beneficial bacteria supplements or powders that I put into my garden when planting. I mean, of course, I also have earthworms, and they're making some really good, rich, nutritious, bacterial and biological dense nutrition for my garden. So these are the simple practices that I do, and it's sad that organic farmers might just throw a bunch of chicken manure down and figure hey, that's the fertilizer, right? And I've asked so many people at farmers markets what their growing practice is, and oh yeah, we just put a lot of manure down, and that's what they do. No, are they putting trace minerals? No, absolutely not. So yeah, that's huge, is the nutrients that I'm adding to my soil. Another factor, like I talked about in the garden, is that you can choose the varieties. You're not dictated the varieties that you must eat, and I have no idea what varieties of cauliflower, broccoli, or the baby carrots for that matter, are in this little package, whereas I know specifically the varieties that I'm growing, because I can grow them from seed, or you could buy a variety of plant starts, of many different varieties at your local nursery. So I talked about this earlier when harvesting, right? You get to choose when you're going to harvest your crops. That's super important, right? You harvest it at a younger age, it's going to be more tender. If you harvest it when it's more mature, it's going to be a bit more fibrous, but it's still going to be better than the store-bought stuff. And if you're at home, you can go out and harvest it any day you want, right? Like when you're on a big farm, they go and they basically clear cut a whole field. Some plants might be ready, some plants might not be. But in general, all the plants are pretty firm texture and maybe beyond their peak, in my opinion, because if they harvest things too early, it's going to be really soft and tender. And if it's too young, too soft, too tender, it goes bad faster. Once the plants get more mature, get more fibrous, they're more resilient to shipping and storage. So yet another reason to grow your own. So I must say, another reason why I believe my plants taste better is simply because they are more nutritious, right? We have mineral receptors on our tongue. People know we have sugar receptors and salt receptors, but we also have trace mineral receptors on our tongues that basically get lit up, or we get excited. I also get excited about my girlfriend, if you're watching, Lauren, hi. But that's another topic. But I get excited when I eat foods that taste good, because that's letting my body know that there's more nutrition in there, and it makes me want to eat more. It makes me actually crave the healthy stuff. And I think it's so bad in our society that people hate their broccoli or they hate their cauliflower because it tastes terrible, right? Because this is what they're used to. They're used to the stuff that's going bad, going yellow, and it's been picked, so far later than, when to get it fresh and tender. Of course, the final thing I'd like to say why my produce tastes better is because I grew it, so I may be biased. I probably am biased, and I have what I call pride of growership. Man, I'm proud of the stuff I grew, man, and it does taste better. And even though it's me tasting it and I'm biased, I totally am serious. 9 out of 10. Maybe there's that one weird person. Y'all have a friend like that, right? That would choose this. But I know if you guys were here tasting my stuff, you'd be like, wow, John, that tastes totally good. I mean, I've brought my produce to different potlucks in different places. My girlfriend, when she comes, and friends that come over, they taste my stuff, and it's like, wow, that tastes really good, and it tastes better than most other produce they've ever had of the same kind. And you could also have this pride of growership, you know. I really want you guys to start growing your own food if you're not already, whether you could grow an outside garden or whether you can't grow an outside garden because it's still snowing outside or you don't have a room outside. You could grow microgreens because those could taste amazing too, much better than cut and picked and shipped microgreens you grow at home. And another reason why you should be growing your food, for me, that's like super critical, super important. It leads me back to like a saying that like my dad told me, you know, what is it like? Those who have the money make the rules, right? Well, you know, I like to kind of say those who control the food make the rules, right? If you are dictated to what you can buy, the foods that you can eat in the grocery store, and it's the fact of the matter is clear, most Americans eat far too much processed foods and junk foods with low nutrients, you know, that are only tasting good because they add things like refined GMO sugars and salts and all this stuff, and it tricks our taste buds and make it think it tastes good when what we really need is mineral-rich food. So literally, food is independence. Growing your own food is having the ultimate independence in our country that is supposed to be, you know, independent, and we're all supposed to have our independence, but when they're controlling your food, you're no longer independent. So I want you guys to take back your true independence, our God-given right to eat the food that we grow. It's quite unfortunate, you know, in this day and age with conspiracies, there's people saying, we're going to lose the right to grow food and, you know, they're genetically modifying everything. Well, if you're against that stuff, right, do the best thing you can against that instead of, you know, not buying this stuff. Grow your own and not have to buy it, and to have food independence, and it'll also taste better. It'll also make you healthier, and you're also going to be able to say, hey, I agree with that. You're going to be able to amaze all your friends with how good your produce tastes without even adding any kind of dressings and all that stuff. I mean, I really love my fresh produce, and I think I'm so hungry now after this video. I need to just chow down on my produce, watch some TV in peace now. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode and learned the difference between, you know, store-bought organic and homegrown, fresh-picked, beyond organic. I want all you guys to start growing some own food today. And if you're not already growing, be sure to check my past episodes. I have over 1,000 episodes now sharing with you guys all aspects of growing food. I've visited many farms and places because one video or another may turn you on. You may like ideas in some and not in others, and that's all right. My goal is to spread this information out to everybody in the world so that people can start growing their own food, taking food independence, becoming healthier, and we can improve the earth one planet at a time by getting more greens and gardens growing. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, my name is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. Until next time, remember, keep on growing.